One of the things I get to do as an innovation coach is work with teachers to integrate technology in their lessons. In this case, 5th grade students are using Now robots to present their positions on a debate between the patriots and the loyalists.
You guys can help each other here.
Students use computational thinking skills to program the robot and learn that coding must be done in a sequence and that they must plan out what it will say and how it will move to help persuade the audience of their position.
It's gonna first say hello, and then after it's gonna make some speeches.
It's gonna say first about the Patriots,
And in the end it's gonna wipe the
forehead.
The students have really enhanced this lesson by incorporating coding and robotics that puts a new spin on this unit and really adds something new and exciting to the lesson. Foundations of writing and new forms of digital communication go hand in hand as students are adding their written paragraphs by using flow coding for programming. Collaboration is key as each student's voice is considered throughout the learning process. Students explore and expand their own knowledge as we facilitate from the sidelines. When given the opportunity, students take ownership of their learning and experiment with this unique form of presentation. Students get really excited to share their work with the class.
Hi, Mom. Wait, are you going night? No. I'm going with my friends to complain about the British controlling us. But this is not fair. They are keeping us here when we could be out there, and they are making us help their soldiers by providing them food and having them live in our houses. They are also having us pay taxes we never agreed on. We need independence.
As an innovation coach, I may be an educator in the classroom, but some days it feels like being a student again, but with a lot cooler tools for learning.
This year at DAA, we've been encouraged to implement the future fluencies in all grade levels, which at first seemed a little bit overwhelming, but really just means looking at your current lesson plans and finding a way to incorporate one or more of the fluencies. What we liked about this approach is that it enabled us to work with the curriculum we had developed over the years, but re-image it and rethink the way we had done it. The fluencies begin with putting the students in a situation where there is a problem that they can relate to and telling them they need to solve it. So what we did is we told our students to imagine you go out to the playground and all of the equipment is gone. All you have are dodgeballs, hula hoops, skipping ropes, and cones, and that they need to come up with a completely new game and they get to make the rules. Now, because they could relate so easily with this challenge, what we saw right from the start is students taking control over their learning. They were collaborating, sharing ideas, and exploring different options. We were able to step back and watch them master the skills they needed at this grade level through the application of the original ideas they worked on together. Another benefit we witnessed is students gaining a deeper understanding about the importance of rules and how, if they're not followed, the activity can quickly break down. And through trial and error, they learned some important lessons in a fun way, like how kicking a ball as hard as you can with someone standing in the way maybe isn't such a good idea. We might want to take another look at that one. This was a really fun and meaningful unit that empowered our students, gave them a sense of purpose, and a feeling that they are important participants in DAA's gym community.
Niels is a grade 12 full IB diploma student. His Group 4 science class is Design and Technology, a course that encourages students to apply their knowledge and conceptualise. to design and manufacture an object that has a function in the 21st century. As an extension to the course, Niels also wanted to experience the more traditional skills of the craftsman.
So once we round off all of this, then we're going to change the chisel. We're going to take off this big one. I'm going to smooth out everything so that it's not as coarse as it is now. And then hopefully it actually looks decent.
By applying the solution fluency, he first considered some relevant questions. Is there still a need for handcrafted pieces today? And does everything we buy need to be manufactured with the aid of computers? In his own free time, he has been working independently with me, learning to turn wood, an old skill that still has a place in today's world. No different than going to a tailor for a made-to-measure garment, or a restaurant to experience chefs exquisitely preparing a meal. It really is wonderful to see Niels take pride in his new skill, and how he is perhaps learning to appreciate that something handmade, complete with imperfections, can still be as beautiful as a flawless, machine-made object. Perhaps even more so.
So I changed the chisels because when you start doing all the little detail, the large chisel doesn't really get into the curve as well as the small one does, and you can't taper it as nicely as you would with the small chisel. And I'm making this because it's my grandpa's 86th birthday in a couple of days. So when I see him in Holland for Christmas break, I'm going to give this to him as a present.
In my teaching career, I've taught math at many levels, from the lowest levels at the start of high school to the highest levels before graduation. One constant that always struck me as challenging was engaging students in the content. And while our topics usually had real-life applications, there was somewhat of a disconnect in finding the applications that were relevant and meaningful to the students. So sequentially, I challenged the students to take responsibility of their learning by just taking control and leading. So we began to engage elements of the solution and collaboration fluencies. And by separating the class into small groups, I gave each student a standard or part of a standard for them to unpack. The groups created presentations through multiple platforms. The collaboration fluency came in to play quite strongly here.
Okay, we're gonna do one with you guys. So I just taught you algebraically and she taught you GDC. So we're gonna do the question number 3 algebraically on the board and you guys check with your calculators, okay? So number 3.
So when I was trying to find out ways to study for my IB classes, I decided to go ahead and research, and I found out about the Feynman technique, which is learning the information you need to get familiar with and teaching it to others. The benefit of this is you're more aware of your deficits in knowledge, and it allows you to go back and study them. So we started to apply this in our schools called Solution Fluency, and it truly is a great technique.
If it was -2, a +2, and then it becomes negative. Are you thinking
So each group was responsible of teaching certain lessons relating to quadratics. So my group was responsible of teaching the 3 quadratic forms, which were vertex, factored, and standard form. I was personally responsible of teaching vertex form, and we had to sort of teach the characteristics, the axis of symmetry, what the graph would look like. However, something I found pretty challenging was actually teaching in an understandable way for my classmates, for them to understand it easily.
So